Hey guys, how you all doing? Welcome back, Ofer again. In today's video we're going to check out and compare two different Charvels. One is made in Japan during the late 80s, early 90s, and one is made in Mexico during 2016. Let's check them out, hear some sounds, and talk about the differences and which one might be better for you. Let's go! Alright, so let's start by talking about the newer made in Mexico Charvel. This one is a Pro Mod from 2016. It's actually the first Charvel I've ever owned. I bought it second hand, but it was really in a new condition. I bought it, I think, almost 4 years ago. So yeah, kind of a year after it came out. It's a great guitar. I think when you buy one of these, you're really paying for the neck, because it really has a very nice neck. Kind of a thin D profile. Jumbo, not super jumbo, but medium to jumbo frets, which were really nicely leveled. And they have a really nice rolled edges of the fingerboard itself. And the neck is finished with this nice, how do they call it? Gunstock oil, something like this. It's very nice and very well made and very well taken care of. But as you can see, this one is not stock. Over the years I've changed all the hardware to black. And the bridge is a Schaller Lockmeister bare knuckle Holy diver set. And the electronics, everything have been gutted out and replaced by high quality parts, because this guitar really came with kind of a cheap, cheap doesn't mean it's shit, yeah, it's cheap, but yeah, cheap hardware, which was okay for a while, you know, but after some abuse, the FRT 1000 started to rust out on me, and you know, couldn't hold tune as well, and the metal blocks started getting stuck and broken fairly easily, and the nut had some grooves in it. I really wanted this guitar to be a really nice playing guitar, so after owning it for like 2 or 3 years, I've decided to take a step forward and change everything. And I think it's a really nice guitar. Acoustically, I think it's a little pale, you know. It's kind of, I don't know, it feels just like strings, no real wood to it, you know. Sound-wise, if it makes any sense. I know I'm probably sounding like a douchebag. But yeah, I think these guitars really came with kind of cheap woods, if it makes any sense, you know, like really brand new kind of wood, maybe not dried properly, I don't know. The maple was really pale. Now it's pretty darkened because I've really played this one a lot. But yeah, this guitar is good for what you pay for it, you know. But keep in mind the hardware is kind of cheap. The knobs, the pickups were good though. I'm just not a big fan of a JB. But if you like it, it's great, and it's great even if you don't know how it is. It's just good for everything. The FRT 1000 does its job, but you know, after a while you really want to get upgraded, and I couldn't buy a new guitar at the time, so just part by part I've replaced it. And I really like this guitar, you know. Saying that it had some cheaper hardware doesn't mean it sucks, and even though it's not the most resonant guitar I own, it's still the first Charvel I own, and it's pretty great. Yeah, so just keep in mind, cheap hardware, great neck, and kind of cheap woods, I think. But yeah, quality control wise, you can see some issues with the routing, you know. I don't know if you can see it through the camera, but there are some black spots. I'll put some pictures and some places where the paint kind of chipped out. There is a screw here for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe they kind of routed a hole in there and they missed where it was supposed to go, so they just put a screw in there so there wouldn't be just a hole. Otherwise, yeah, great guitar. Let's move on to talk about the made in Japan guitars. I've got 3 of them. Let's go. So let's start with the 475 Deluxe. I bought this one a couple years ago. This one's from 91. And first of all, what's common for most of the Deluxe series, whether it's 375, 475, and the other numbers you have, they come with this Charvel made in Germany bridge, which is really as good as it gets, you know. One of my favorite bridges. It responds really nicely, it keeps tuning perfectly. The frets on this guitar are really some of the best I've encountered, you know. They're really big and fat. They have my personal favorite profile. And miraculously, they still keep pretty well, even though this is a 30-something-year-old guitar, you know. The frets look great on it. And the pickups, you know, they're kind of controversial. Some people hate them, some people like them. Me personally, after I took off the cover, I really grew liking these. They kind of resemble an EMG kind of sound, I think. They're pretty nice for what they are. This guitar specifically also have a mid-boost circuit, which is kind of nice and a cool addition. A really high-end switch, as opposed to the made in Mexico, which comes with a really shitty switch originally, you know. If you kind of go in the middle between one of the 3 positions, it just doesn't have any sound coming out, so it's kind of lame, and you can hear the clicking while moving from position to position. The woods on these guitars are really awesome, you know. I think these guitars are very resonant. Maybe it's because they're very old, I don't know, but I think that they just put more effort into choosing good woods, or maybe drying out the woods more properly. And yeah, just even holding the guitar, you can feel that it's very sturdy, it's solid. It feels like you can throw it on a wall or something and it will just jump back and still be in tune. You know, I can abuse this guitar as much as I want. I just set it up and put new strings on it, tune it up once, and you know, and it just won't go out of tune. It's awesome. So the Charvel tremolo is a really strong point to this one. Otherwise, the knobs, everything, the finish, it just feels like a quality instrument. And I think all of the late 80s, early 90s made in Japan Charvels that were made in this Chusen Gaki factory, however you pronounce it, they're really great guitars, you know, and especially in recent years, I say it in all of my videos regarding that matter, the prices have just gone up so crazily, and it just shows, that these are great guitars, and you know, people are after them for a reason, you know. And I'm talking about the fretboard material. This one is rosewood, very nice piece of rosewood, even kind of ebony looking, you know. If it wouldn't have the brown streaks in it, I think it's ebony. And the neck profile, I think this one is a bit shallow and kind of a D-shaped, but the other ones I have, which we'll talk about in a second, have a beefier neck. And yeah, let's move on to the next guitar. Alright, this is the 375 Deluxe, and I got this one I think exactly 1 year ago. This one also is equipped with a Charvel tremolo, which I love. It's a bit dusty, so sorry for that. It also had the great switch, one of my favorites that I love, that all of this guitar came with. Same knobs. The pickups, I've changed the single coils because they were kind of not so good to Seymour Duncan ones, and the bridge pickup I think is J80C. And again, these super big, awesome frets, you know, that just don't wear out. I think they're made out of samurai metal or something. You can get only in Japan. A really, really nice piece of maple, even a bit flamed on the top. You can see it in person, probably not through the camera. And yeah, again, you just feel that this guitar is quality made and very, very carefully inspected. The finish is great, aside from the dings that happen through the ears. I forgot to talk about the tuners. All of these tuners, I think they're Grover tuners with Charvel logo on it, or Jackson logo in this case, which is pretty funny. A lot of these older ones, they have Jackson branded bridge or Jackson branded tuners, you know, because they were all made in the same factory. And yeah, so once again, very high quality. They also have this cutaway at the heel, which is very nice, and the Pro Mod doesn't have it. It has a really, really chunky heel, so it's also kind of a downside to the Pro Mod. I'm a big fan of the pointy headstock. Probably a lot of people are. Probably some are haters for it, but I think it's great. The older ones also come with wrench holder, which is very awesome. Yeah, awesome guitar. This one is probably the most resonant guitar I own. It has pretty old strings on it, and still, you know, a bit out of tune, but yeah, just awesome guitar. So last but not least, my recently purchased Model 2. Again, this guitar feels great, even though it's kind of a cheaper one. This is the cheapest guitar I've ever bought. I won't tell you how much I paid, but it's really a joke for the quality of this guitar. This one is super heavy, like almost Les Paul heavy. Big chunk of basswood for the body. Jackson J90C. This one got the lower grade J86 tremolo, which though it's not the best tremolo, it does a job. The guitar stays in tune and you can still mess around with it. And yeah, quality made. Again, these awesome Japanese frets. Really nice piece of maple that just gets better with the years. Really nice piece of rosewood for the fingerboard. Awesome guitar. So let's go for some conclusions and end this video. So for conclusion, I really think the old Charvels are really high quality guitars, if we're talking hardware wise or quality control wise or just craftsmanship wise, you know, they're better made. But you need to keep in mind these guitars are 30 years old and some of the hardware might need a replacement. You might need to tinker with it, and if you don't know anything about it or don't want to buy a guitar that you might need to replace some parts on it, don't get into it. Or get into it, but just know that you're getting into something that you might need to do some work on. Whereas if you buy one of these Pro Mod Charvels, probably even second hand, they're all still great if they haven't been abused. I think the Pro Mods are great. This video is not trying to slander them or anything like that. Just want to show people the differences because I'm a big freak and fan of these guitars. The Pro Mods are great, the neck is impeccable, the fretwork is amazing, the rolled fingerboard edges, which is something the older ones don't have, are really nice, but the hardware is kind of cheap, you know, really cheap tuners, cheap everything apart from the pickups, which are great. And yeah, make your choice wisely, you know. You need to look for these older guitars very well now because people know that they're worth quite a bit and a lot of people are willing to pay a lot for them. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope this video has been helpful for you to decide which guitar do you want, an older made in Japan Charvel or a newer made in Mexico one. Please subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm doing. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Oferholan. Let me know which one you like better in the comments, the made in Mexico or the older made in Japan Charvels. And rock on, I'll see you soon at the next video. Have a great new year and keep rocking. Bye bye.